You know, they keep coming up with code names for all these things. So now I'm thinking, well, the 133 policy, what the heck is that? Well, the 1, that stands for One China. The 3, that's the 3 communiques with the People's Republic. Nixon, Carter, and Reagan's communiques. Clinton's going along with them. Business as usual, more of the same. But what was the last 3? Well, that was the 3 no's. The 3 no's. Is this more non-paper talk? The 3 no's, Bill Clinton's 3 no's are no independence for Taiwan. Flat out statement. The second no was no two Chinas. The third no, no membership in any organization that required statehood status. This even kept Taiwan out of the World Health Organization. When Clinton made one of his trips to China, the Chinese leader gave him a book the president should no business taking. It was a book that the president should have flatly refused, but instead he took the gift. The title of the book that the Chinese leader gave to Bill Clinton, The Heretic Cult of the Falun Gong. China was defending to the United States its oppression of the Falun Gong. Gave it right to the president. Almost like a slap in the face. And Clinton took it. Congress was alarmed about the 133 policy and the 3 no's. Congress tried to pass the Taiwan Security Enhance Act. It passed in the House of Representatives. It failed in the Senate. Bill Clinton threatened to veto it if it passed in the Senate. Let me read a couple of lines out of this bill that almost became law that President Clinton opposed. In this act that Congress tried to pass, it said that Taiwan is now exhibiting a true multi-party democracy, and there were multi-parties by that point in time. Martial law had been lifted. It had an economy based on free market principles and was separate and distinct from Communist China. And the act went on to say, any determination of the ultimate status of Taiwan must have the express consent of the people of Taiwan. Well, no wonder Bill Clinton wanted to veto it. For once, the American Congress is talking about the will of the Taiwan people. The first time. But it was defeated. Defeated in the U.S. Senate. The act also said that it's in the national interests of the United States to eliminate ambiguity, to express its support for Taiwan's democratic government, and ensure that the Taiwanese people maintain their democracy free from coercion. Defeated. Threatened to be vetoed. Bill Clinton. Now we're up to George Bush II. Gosh, we're starting to get up to recent events. I remember him. That wasn't that long ago. People had hope when he came in. He made a statement early in his administration. A reporter asked him, well, what are you going to do about Taiwan? And he said, we'll do whatever it takes to defend Taiwan. People were encouraged. But by the end of his term, back to business as usual. Back to the same message that every other American president since Franklin Roosevelt had said. Bush had a meeting with Hu Jintao. What was the chief topic? Taiwan. But this time it wasn't the usual Taiwan question. Because there was no question. Because Bush had already got back in line. One China. No independence. So what was the one thing that Hu Jintao was upset about? It was the people of Taiwan. They're talking about independence. He asked the American president to silence the people of Taiwan. Bush just scoffed at them and said, talking now about the people in Taiwan advocating for their own independence, Bush said, don't worry about them. They are like mosquitoes who want to attack an elephant. And he promised that he would encourage and not send wrong signals and not mislead people into believing the United States supports Taiwan independence. Well, Bush, too, was good for the arms sale, good for business. You know, keep it up. Keep pumping those weapons at the island. These are some of the weapon systems that were sold to Taiwan under George Bush II. Submarine designs. Mark 48 anti-submarine torpedoes. Harpoon submarine-launched anti-ship cruise missiles. Patriot missiles. Self-propelled howitzers. Helicopters. F-16 fighters. They also wanted to do something else. Didn't make the news, didn't go into effect, but the military-industrial complex, the big weapons suppliers, said to the Bush administration, we've got a plan to defend Taiwan. We know you cannot sell offensive weapons that will provoke China. But we know that you can also sell defensive weapons. We've got the ultimate defense, the porcupine strategy. A porcupine, that's that animal with the pins up the back that you can't touch. The reason they called it the porcupine strategy is because they were going to mine the entire western coast of Taiwan. 180 miles of mines in the surf zone, where people swim when they go to the beach. The entire western coast was to be closed to swimmers because of the bombs in the water. And the mines in the water were going to be supplemented by Harpoon missile installations along the shoreline. So when the Chinese attacked, they'd be caught in the mines in the surf, and the missiles could fire at them. The porcupine strategy. That was the military-industrial complex's proposal to Bush to solve Taiwan's problems. An outrageous idea. Well, now, at last, we've got a president who's promised change. All during the election, we heard about change. The people in Taiwan are still waiting. In fact, they're waiting to even hear something from Mr. Obama about Taiwan. I've been following it very closely, and President Obama, as far as I've been able to determine, and I look closely, has not uttered the word Taiwan once. Been totally silent. When Hillary Clinton, his Secretary of State, made her Asian tour, she bypassed Taiwan. Well, what to make of Obama's silence? Will the change that he promised come? Or will he fall in line like George Bush II and Bill Clinton and George Bush I and Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford and John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson and Harry Truman? I think that President Obama is going to be business as usual, and that's why he's silent. But we do have a few clues as to what the president's thoughts and intentions about Taiwan are. Unfortunately, it's not a very good message. The first clue came in the Roger Lin case. The The Roger Lin lawsuit is trying to get a treaty interpretation of the San Francisco Peace Treaty. Get a judicial ruling that the promise to the people of Taiwan has not been kept. And ask for the court's intervention. In April of this year, Judge Janice Rogers Brown of the District of Columbia U.S. Court of Appeals issued a ruling. And in the very first paragraph of her ruling, she said Taiwan has suffered under political purgatory. That's hell. That's what she's talking about. Hell on earth, political purgatory. And that's what happened in Taiwan in the 228 massacre, the White Terror, the martial law. Hell on earth. The judge said she was prepared, she and the other members of the court were prepared to act expeditiously. That means quickly, to end the political purgatory of Taiwan. But she could not act because the court lacked military power. The court would only act if the president gave the go-ahead. The executive must identify the sovereign, said Judge Brown. And what did we get out of President Obama? Silence. Well, now he's not just ignoring the mosquitoes biting at an elephant. He's not ignoring citizen groups like this. He's ignoring a federal appellate judge. No answer in public, no answer in court. Obama's silence speaks louder than words. And it's not a good message. The second clue we have to Obama's thinking is with Hillary Clinton herself. Bill Clinton's wife. She's had a chance to live out one of his no's. Bill Clinton's third no was